Okay, first I'm just going to read this and note different things I'm thinking as I'm reading it, and I usually just speed read it first, so I'm also just going to time this because it should be about 3 minutes, but I'm going to stop every once in a while just to say little things I'm noticing. Okay. Alright, so it's a prose fiction passage adapted from a novel, The Ground Beneath Her Feet by Salman Rushdie. So I assume it's about a female. And then it says Art Deco is an architectural and decorative style that was popular in the first half of the 20th century. So I assume that's going to come into play somewhere. Okay, so one thing I'm always thinking at the beginning of a prose fiction passage is what is the narrative voice? I'm just trying to get a picture of the narrator from the details. Okay. When you grow up as I did in a great city during what happens to be its golden age, you think of it as eternal. Always was there, always will be. The grandeur of the metropolis creates the illusion of permanence. The peninsular Bombay into which I was born certainly seemed perennial to me. Malabar and Kumbala hills were our capital and Palatine. The Braeburn Stadium was our Coliseum. And as for the glittering Art Deco sweep of Marine Drive, well, that was something not even Rome could boast. Okay, I just want to point out a couple things. One thing I would say is they're usually going to ask a question about like what is the most important kind of thing in the list. So when they give a list, you pretty much are going to anticipate that they're going to ask something about it. And often the most significant item in the list is the last item in the list. So I kind of am just keeping this in mind. There's this list here and this list, and then also that um, this phrase not even kind of tells me that this is the most important item in the list. Because all these other items, they're kind of comparing these structures and buildings in Bombay to buildings in Rome. So like the Colosseum might be one that you actually know, the Colosseum in Rome. So if it says that was something not even Rome could boast about, it's saying this is the most striking of the items in the list. Okay. Uh, okay. And then it says, I actually grew up believing Art Deco to be the Bombay style. So you could see that she's misguided there in that thought. A local invention, its name derived in all probability from the imperative of the verb to see, Art Deco. So this here is saying that in some language that she knows, deco is a verb that means to see. Lo and behold, art. When I began to be familiar with images of New York, I at first felt a sort of anger. The Americans had so much. Did they have to possess our style as well? But in another more secret part of my heart, the Art Deco of Manhattan, built on a scale so much grander than our own, only increased America's allure, made it both familiar and awe-inspiring, our little Bombay writ large. Okay, so what I'm taking out of this part is just that she moved to America and then she realized that the art that she thought was special and specific to her home in Bombay, she found that it also existed in New York. So this kind of represents like a shift in attitude and a awakening and new awareness, which is a common feature, I would say, of fiction passages. Okay. So yeah, I realize the timing is gonna be really off because I'm saying everything that I would think as I read. Okay, so then the next paragraph. In reality, that Bombay was almost brand new when I knew it. What's more, my parents' construction firm of Merchant and Merchant had been prominent in its making. In the 10 years before my own coming into the world, the city had been a gigantic building site, as if it were in a hurry to become, as if it knew it had to provide itself in finished condition by the time I was able to start paying attention to it. No, I don't really think along such solipsistic lines. I'm not over attached to history or Bombay. Me, I'm the under attached type. Okay. So at the end of each paragraph, I do try to kind of just say a little bit about it to myself to check if I understood anything about it. So for this one, it's just characterizing the state of Bombay when she was growing up there. So it's just saying that it was just getting developed at that point. Yeah.